Welcome to my Conscious Podcast. I'm Jessica Klingsborg, and this is a podcast where we dive into our inner worlds and the incredible skills hidden inside us. It is a space for honest and meaningful conversations where our guests share their stories and insights from their life experiences and journeys of self-discovery. Today's guest is Annette Merrild, a Barcelona-based founder, venture builder, and quantum healer. She is the founder of Seed of Life, where she works with executives, entrepreneurs, and high-performing professionals on what really drives leadership under pressure, our inner narratives, emotional triggers, and the patterns that shape how we decide, communicate, and lead. Annette brings a unique mix of worlds. She's built ventures in the building industry, and she's also an internationally exhibited artist, so her work is both grounded and deeply human. Her focus is on neutrality, self-leadership, and shifting your inner frequency as practical skills for clearer decisions, better communication, and real sustainable change. So let's dive in. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Conscious Podcast. Today I have the pleasure to have a Danish woman here, Annette Merrild. She is a Barcelona-based founder. She's a venture builder. She's the founder of Seed of Life. And she works with executives, entrepreneurs, and high performers to stay clear and grounded in high-stake moments. And what makes her approach unique is the blend of entrepreneurial experience and creative depth, strategic, human-centered, and practical. And her focus is on neutrality, self-leadership, and shifting our inner frequency to support better decisions, stronger communication, and sustainable change. So please join me in welcoming Annette Merrild. How are you today? What is lighting you up today?
Oh, thank you so much, Jessica. What an introduction. I love it. If that's not light itself, Well, the sun is shining in Barcelona for the first time. So that is a big light after a lot of rain. And so I'm just happy to be here and talking with you and see what this day will bring us.
Yes, I'm so curious to listen to what you have to share. And for the people who hasn't met you and don't know you, who is Annette beyond the bio and the titles and everything?
Well, first of all, I am a quantum healer. And I had, to be honest, a collapse in 2016. I returned from that, and was now able to make a bridge between art and healing and real life transformation. I work as a quantum healer today, and I do that I would say, I fine tune people's inner instrument so they can kind of play that song they're meant to play. So I work with, like you said, neutrality. And I do that because I believe in, once you have found a story you don't like, it's about, you have to stop feeding it. And then when you do that, you are shifting into a new vibration. And so I teach people to be aware of the story they're telling themselves.
Yeah.
And if they can just stop, they actually turn into, like, I call it the 51%. And that means that you already took one step into more alignment to your true version of yourself. So this is what I work with. So I kind of combine all of these things.
Well, that sounds beautiful. I can imagine that having these kind of gifts evolved. I think you were a kind of special child as well. How was it to be a little Annette and discovering that you had special gifts?
Well, I was an empathic person, and I was super sensitive when I was a kid. I could go into a room and I could read it instantly, what people were feeling. And well, that's a challenge when you're a kid.
Mm.
My mom was an artist, and she still is a wonderful artist. And she gave me the permission slip to express that into art in a very early age. And people would always tell me their stories, even when I was a kid. Like the most secret story, I would sit down at a table, they would say, I feel like telling you this story. And today I can see that people were not telling me stories, they were telling me vibrations, and I was picking them up. So I started being an artist, and I lived from it when I was 18,
Oh, wow.
because it was the easiest way. It was really easy for me to escape into expressing what I felt in the art, you know. So it was,
And what
today
kind
I
of
see it as
art?
my
Is it
superpower.
contemporary art, or what kind of expression are we talking about?
I literally have been working with all kind of media. I was like, I loved exploring everything: photography, sculptures, paintings.
Hmm.
I did a one photography project called the Room Project,
Yeah.
and it was like an anthropologic journey throughout Europe. So I used a space I was given from an architect. They all had the same space layout, so you had a limitation of how you could use it. And I took a photo of each space in the middle, and I left the people out. So it
Okay.
was like a stage for the people to put their own story into. So I was always working with the limitation of how far we're willing to go to find freedom
Hmm.
and vulnerability. I even was labeled as an erotic artist, even though it was never my interest. Even if I was using the body, it was more of how far we were willing to go to find our own freedom.
Exactly.
So I think I was always in the space of observing quantum, even when I didn't have the language for it.
Yeah. And how did that period shape the way you read people and emotions today?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I mean, the Room Project was exploring freedom and boundaries, and I was thinking, how did that period in your life shape how you read people and emotions today?
I think the most interesting for me was to hear other people's story.
Mm.
How people would observe it, and everybody was so right about how they explored life was the same story everybody else was seeing in these pictures, and that made me interesting in like how a stage with nothing, it's kind of like a left reality, like a ghost, how people can then make their own reality by observing it. And that made me realize that everybody is observing individual. There's no there's not one way of seeing anything. And I think that was,
Yeah.
of course, an interest for me to observe more into. I just didn't know it at that point. I just was an artist doing artistic work of how we can read people without seeing them.
Yeah, and I think you were labeled an erotic artist, right?
I were
Yeah, and how was
because
that like being? I mean, was that yeah, bringing up authenticity through that expression?
I found it interesting.
Mm.
As soon as a woman go into areas that normally are expressed by men,
Mm.
to become erotic artist and not really question to how I was looking at it very different as a woman, as a mother. I remember starting doing that when I was pregnant, and people was like, "You shouldn't be painting like that when you're pregnant." And I thought that's really interesting that
Mm.
other people have an opinion about how I should supposed to paint as an artist when I'm pregnant, and that made me go into who am I as a woman, as a mother, and all the different roles that I had already been exploring at that time. And I found it really interesting how people found it, they wanted to label me as an artist, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It's usually the
From,
labels are for the other people, the one who is watching to feel comfortable.
yes,
I mean, as an
yes,
artist,
yes,
you can have so many faces.
yes. And I believe in, that is my superpower. I've been having so many faces in my art world, and also the different things I have done.
Mm.
And I believe in, I was a soul who really wanted to try different things to understand where I have to be today.
Yeah,
And it's making it much easier then for me to guide people because I tried so much.
exactly. I mean, you also build ventures in the building industry. It's very
I
different
did.
from the spiritual space.
It's it's a very different thing. I come from an entrepreneur family. My mom was an artist. My dad was an inventor, and business was always my playground. And we were always traveling a lot. And so my world has always been my playground since a very young age. And one of my collector liked how I was living, and he said, you have such a good taste. I love your art. Could you not help me with doing a building project? And I thought, sure, I can do that. Why not? So I found a building. I created the vision, and suddenly I could feel it, and I became like the anchor of that project. And I was invited in as a co-investor. I had nothing. I was an artist, and I said, I have 1,500 euros. I can become like 50% owner of the company. And I then got all the money in, and with my 1,500 euro, I became 50% owner of the company of the 3 million project. And
Wow.
the only thing I had was my vision. I didn't have anything else. And I thought, like, back then, I thought, wow, I'm the new manifestor person. I know how to do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then came the awakening. Then came the I had the building startup that took everything away, my identity, my creation, my everything that I stood for.
Wow. So there came this big stop in interfering after just everything was
Oh,
projected and manifested. Then came the
yes.
okay.
And I literally had like it just took me to the ground, because it was not my money. I had to like live up to all the things I have said I would do, and we were building other projects next to it.
Mm.
I started to build more projects, but this was like the mothership. This was like the big one, and the architect made a mistake. We lost our building license. I went to a lot of different lawyers. As being an artist, you have the benefit that a lot of rich people know you, so you have a lot of contacts. So I went to the best of the best, and they said, Annette, there's nothing to do. You're never going to build here again.
They said that to you.
And oh yeah, everybody. And I could see the pity in their eyes. And I said, you don't understand. I have to build. I have to do this. And they're like, you don't understand. You're not going to. And then I did something crazy at that time. I took somebody coming to cleanse the building.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely could not put that into my budgets, so I had to pay it myself. 2,000 euro. I felt like an idiot doing it. Anyway, I did it, and they told me, well, I had a meeting with the Ayuntament, City Hall, the next week, and they told me, when everything is nearly done, the guy in charge will say, there's one little thing you can do here. That's what you have to do. And I went to the meeting, and we were standing in the door entrance, like we had to leave. And I thought, well, now it has to come. And he said, I could consider doing this and this. And I said, okay, we're going to do that. And the architect said, oh, we should think about it. No, 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 we're going to do that. And so I did, and we built again, you
Wow.
know.
So it came out just
And
like they just
no, no, no. Then came this building project became my mentor. It became my awakening. It became my existential crisis. It became my spiritual intonation. It became everything. So then we started having problem how they had built it. It led to a law case. I was like now starting to look inward. I had learned a lot of spiritual things. So I thought, hey, I'm the queen of manifestation. I know how to do this. Oh, law case, come here. It's just going to be one more good thing for my story, how to tell, how to create, how to manifest. So I started to manifest out in the future how I wanted because the lawyer had taken my case in nearly as a pro bono, or they were like not being paid before we would win, because it was a very easy win, they said. Everybody said, you're going to win this like 70, 80%. It's so sure.
okay.
Okay. And I worked on the law case. I worked on the people that had not done me good. And I worked on I thought I was doing this really good out of a good heart in the future. And the closer we got to the law case, I could feel that I was not a match with what I believed in.
Okay.
We lost everything, like everything,
Really?
like everything. And I was like sick for a month. I couldn't stand up. And I was like, okay, Annette, you know how to get up. And then on top, I had to sell the apartment. It was COVID,
Oh my
and
God. On top of
I'd
it was
done
a pandemic.
yeah, when it was finished, and now I had to sell. There's nobody in the city, and the prices in Barcelona had gone down, and now we lost the law case. I had to sell very high the square meters, and I was told from a spiritual friend who had been following me in this project. He said, "The problem's you, Annette." I said, "What do you mean the problem is me? I've been doing everything, looking inwards. I've been doing everything." And she said, "No, no, no, you don't understand it. Your vibration doesn't match. You need to change your vibration." And I said, how can I do that? I felt, because I was so sad, I was like, every time the building came up, I was just like, oh my God, I just wanted to put my head into the ground. I hated it. I just hated the building so much,
Oof. But I
and
guess you were
he kept
thinking and
saying,
breathing and living the building 24/7 in that
yeah, for
time,
3 years,
for 3 years.
3 years. And then I thought, you know what? It's not going to go how I am. Let's just do it. So I started to change my vibration. I did that
Could you explain how
by,
you do it practically to the listeners?
yes,
Yeah.
in this case, what I did, I visualized that I was walking down the street where the building was. And I'm telling you, my stomach didn't feel good just thinking about going there. I would open up the door to the building. I did not be happy about that. And then I would go through the whole building, open up every door, sending out my light. And I will go through the whole building in my mind eye and up to the roof. And up on the roof, I would send out as this neon out, this big light coming out. And I would say, for sale. The first, I don't know, 50 times I did that, I was literally laughing at myself.
Yeah.
But one day I felt a tinkling in my stomach. And I was like, did I just feel a little bit of a shift? And I thought, I did. And then I kept going, just kept going, because there was a lot of moments where I felt sad. There would be like a email from the lawyer or from the investors. There's a lot of good moments to be like, boom, down again. And I just kept doing it, kept doing it, kept doing it. One moment I've noticed, if I just thought about the building, I got happy. So then when I had shifted, and it is a true story, I'm not lying. I did not do any commercial because it was COVID. There was nobody there. The real estate agents had said you should put it down to 300,000 because we don't have anybody to buy luxury apartments. And this was for luxury apartments
Yeah.
with its own pools and very different with art involved because I have like put all artistic things into it. So it was a very unique thing, and there was not client for that. When I had shifted my energy, I sold all the apartment in 2 months. I had people driving through COVID, fighting about it, coming, I don't know from where. I don't know, and said, "How did you hear about me?" Well, I had a friend of a friend of a friend who knows you're selling. I didn't do any commercial, and I sold it all. And we sold it for the highest square meter ever sold in the old town.
My
It
God,
was,
what a story.
yes,
And what a big
yeah.
lesson learning.
It was the biggest lesson because I learned that I thought when I had all that investment, I thought I got it because I was investing for the future. But what I did, I had talked to those investors being such an alignment in the now, talking out of my heart, explaining everything as it was already there. I was in match with the vibration. I did use the future. I let go of it. I didn't know exactly how to get it, but I felt it non-stop when I was talking to people. And I was like a beginner. I never built anything. And I have to tell you, the one who wanted to do it with me, he left because he didn't have the money. So he said, Annette, it's all yours if you can do it.
Wow. Wow.
So I had to go out and find the money. And I found all the 3 million investment from my heart. I didn't have anything. I had the 1,500 euro.
That is
And
remarkable. I mean, so you actually try to visualize and feel the vibration of when you sold it, and then bring it to the
oh,
present to
yes, I
keep that
felt,
vibration, to hold it until it became real.
yes. So I changed my feeling to the building.
Yeah.
Because I was so angry, I was so bitter, I was so sad, I had lost my identity. And then I started, hey, Annette, you actually created this. I started to see the building. Hey, you did this from nothing, and it's standing there. And I started seeing what I actually had created. But so I went for the building, and I just said for sale, and I could see how I was cleansing the whole building. I was cleansing, and I was being thankfulness. I was feeling gratefulness. I didn't say how I would sell it, who would buy it. I just said for sale, and I could feel it. I could just feel this is going to be sold.
And you really
And
believe
we
that?
did. I,
Believe.
I, I just, I just felt it all the time. I just let go of the how. I just took the vibration into the now, and it was not a question anymore. Would it be sold? Would it be sold for this price? I just could feel it. I just knew it.
And did you have like
Exactly like
in
how
the morning, like 2 or 3 times a day when you consciously went into this, that
I just did it
automatically?
every time. Every time. It was like autopilot. Every time I didn't believe in it, like something sad came up, and I felt, oh, there's the story.
Yes.
There's the old story that doesn't do me any good. I just stopped digging it. I just stopped going into it, stopped feeding it.
Yes.
And then I said, okay, just be aware. There it came. So what do? I didn't know. I didn't have anything to give it in the first time. I could just feel it. I just stopped, and then I did that visualization. And by doing it every time, stopping
Hmm.
and saying, this is what I want. So I was communicating to the universe. I don't want to explore that feeling. I want to explore this. And I kept doing it over and over again until that day that I actually felt the shift.
Wow, that is where
And then I
neutrality is
just,
coming in. We will talk about it more later, but this is when
yeah,
you describe that you can create neutrality to something, to shift the timeline.
totally.
Hmm.
At the moment you feel that you are in a story you don't like, is the moment you should stop. And everybody would say, but that's so easy said. I'm sharing the story not to be a show off, but to
No.
show my own story that I actually did it. And I know that it's possible. And I can see that a lot of the manifesting programs, when I see it, is often about the future.
Hmm.
And you have to do like this. And if you're not, if you're not doing it in the morning when you get up, you already lost it. So there's so many layers on how manifestation are being taught.
Yeah.
And what I wish to say to people, the moment you feel that you are in a story that you do not wish,
Hmm.
you should be applauding yourself already, because you are observing it. And the moment you're observing something, stop it. And then if it's hard for you to step out, just you can even think about something that just makes you a little bit happy at that moment. Just anything that can make you a little bit slighter happy, and being observer of it.
Hmm.
And then if you have a hard time then to go out of it, try to make a story that will be more aligned with what you like to do,
Yeah.
but do not have with the biggest excitement that you have to do it. I want to do it like this and this feels great and great. And even if you don't believe it, just keep going with it, and then let go of who has to come to give you the money, when does it have to happen? Because if you're putting a narrative in that's already so fixed, you're doing it out of your conscious mind.
Hmm.
You're not talking to your subconscious mind saying, I am just sending it out there. This is the vibration I am,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. It is complicated to really understand it and incorporate, but you have to train on it because it's something you have to do repeatedly, right? To change your
I think the
neuron pattern way.
Yeah, well, that's what I do when I help with
Mm.
quantum healing.
Mm.
I help people to shift into that vibration that is a better match for them.
Mm.
So that's what I'm doing when I do the quantum healing. But I always believe in that you can do a lot yourself too. And the first step is when you feel a story, let's just say, I call it the 3 layers. There's experience, there's awareness, it's the story.
Mm.
Let's say there's a sweet dog there, and that's the experience, and you're aware of there's a dog. And now comes the story. If you do not like dogs, you would say, that's horrible, there's a dog, let me run. And if you like a dog, you say, oh, that's a cute dog, and you will enjoy the moment. The two same people have a totally different experience of the same experience and having an awareness of it. But they're living two different stories of it.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, which story am I writing? Is that the one I want to live?
Exactly.
Because you are literally the producer, the actor, you the script writer. You are everything in your movie.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in, when I say quantum healing, I do not believe in linear timeline.
It's something that we made up here.
It's something we made up here. And if you think things are going to take time, if you think with us all these things, times heals,
No, I
all
don't believe
these
that either.
beautiful things, no, and then you're already putting a lot of time into the process you want. But you can also say, how does it feel in this very moment if I had it? Then keep the feeling and let it go of how it has to look like.
Exactly. Yeah, because you have to feel to heal. It's not
You
the
are
time who heals for you. It's
no,
because time
the moment
alignment is
totally
instant.
the moment you shift your vibration, you shift your story.
Yeah. So you can
So
change your
it's like,
vibration and story many, many, many times a day, and then you become more and more of an
oh
expert
yeah,
on
oh
how to
yeah,
change it back to the narrative that you want.
it's so correct, so well said. And also, like sometimes people say, but why do I then have a lower vibration sometimes? You do that to learn to see that you actually know now how to do a higher vibration. Because if you're just on a high note all the time, you wouldn't know that you are on it if you sometimes don't have your lower notes or your lower
Yeah,
vibrations.
the note.
But the yeah, but it's just to say that you need to be observing when you do it and not keep digging into it. Just stop,
Yeah.
because the universe will guide you. If you want to say, I really want to feel misery, it's going to guide you. It's not because it want to punish you. It just want to guide you.
Yeah, so
If
that
that's
is
what
what
you
you
want to,
attract. You get more misery.
yeah, it's going to say, oh, she really want to learn it,
Oh,
And
okay.
also I see, she really, really want to dig into this. Like, people said, I know I'm always going to meet these people that doesn't do me any good. Oh, ooh, could we rephrase that sentence? I have explored people who have really taught my values, and I'm so enjoying using them now.
Yes.
You just have to be kinder to yourself. How you speak to yourself is also a vibration.
Exactly. I mean, in the middle of all this big learning of the room project, it became the entrance to go and experience ayahuasca for you.
Yeah, so I had this horrible things going on, taking years and years of my life, just eating all my energy.
Yeah.
And in the same time, it was teaching me. Even if I didn't want to understand it in one way, it will get me again in another way. Like when I thought everything was done, we had the law case, I lost, blah, blah, blah. It would just take me on the right again until I got it. When I understood vibration is in the now and nowhere else, I was kind of ready for my next teaching or learning. And in the same time, I had this just saying yes to whatever feels right to me in my spiritual journey. So I had the spiritual journey going on in the same time. And it all was starting in 2016. And for me, yes, ayahuasca was my awakening. And I have heard and many people who are becoming teachers or awoke, or they're being awakening or having an initiation. I don't know how do you say it in
Initiation.
awakening. Yeah, thank you so much. Um, for me, it was ayahuasca, and a friend of mine told me about it, and I said I want to do that. And she says, you should think about it. I said, no, 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 no. I'm just really following whatever comes up that feels right in the now. I'm just going to say yes to it. I cleansed myself. I didn't drink, didn't eat meat, didn't eat sugar for 3 months. And I was at that time a girl who liked to go out. And I went to ayahuasca and I thought, okay, I'm going to have it like everybody else, like going through some things that I have to work on. Ayahuasca had other plans with me. I went straight into light. I never got sick.
Yeah, because normally for
And
people who they never tried it, ayahuasca is a plant medicine that you drink, and
yes,
that keeps like opening up layers into your, well, connected to your higher self and different kind
yeah, and
of
also,
dimensions. No.
yeah, also often people are being showed things in this life where they had some blockages,
Mm.
or if they lost parents, that they will revisit their parents and have that talk they never had, you know.
Mm.
So in my case, I went into light and I had a beautiful journey, in which then it was like a weekend course. I thought, okay, that was amazing. Let me do the buffo. Buffo is like a skin of a frog that you inhale. And normally people are gone for 10, 15 minutes. In my case, I was gone for hours
For
and I was
hours.
traveling. Yes. It took a long time before I got really out of it. And when I was in the first part, because I kept the smoke, I didn't let go of it. Uh, I'm a bad smoker, so I thought, I just I just keep it.
Yeah.
And I was in this darkness for a long time, and I remember asking myself if I was afraid, and I thought, no, I can feel there's some movements. And then I was told to just let go of the smoke, and I hit this light wall, and I was flushed and flushed, and I was like laying like with my breast up and just being flushed and flushed with this light. And when I came back the first time, I thought, why did they move me out in nature? That's kind of not nice of them. I mean, because it was inside, you know. And I felt like, why am I in nature? And the shaman was standing over me and saying, "Oh, congratulations, you had a rebirth on your first try." And then I went right in again to that light, and he said, "Oh, there she goes again." So I would come again, and so I would not have any room people. I would just see the shaman a little bit, and so I would go in and out of this reality into light and in, and finally I could be in the room. And
But you were not in nature. Was you leaving the body or?
I was not in nature. I just didn't see the room.
Okay.
I was just in this where this was
Mm.
hold was in a very nature. So it was just like if all the room was just disappearing. So I was laying on the ground in the nature. So so I did the ayahuasca again at the night, and I got in contact with my higher self. I was being taught how to put light into darkness for 6 hours, and I remember thinking, if there's any more light, I think I will explore, you know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move because I don't move. So if I sit, I just leaving the body right away, and then I was being taught for 6 hours about light. So the real awakening was the next day, where you've been eating, you've been sleeping, and we were about to go home. And the shaman said, no, no, I would like to do this soul star. It's like a portal. He puts like stones, and he puts like this field where he can then talk to you.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I can do that. I can stand on a little stone, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen the other people doing that. I can do that. The moment I stood in the stone, the shaman started to walk back, and he said, I can't be in that light. How did you do it? And I said, well, I did say there was a lot of light, because they asked me, where did you go? And I said, oh, I went into a lot of light, you know. And
Yeah,
then
because
he
the
said,
light can be
why?
so high vibrational that the body could not take it.
Yeah, I really did think if any more light comes, I would not,
Be
I
able to
wouldn't
hold
be able
it.
to hold it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I said that,
Mm.
and I meant it, but he didn't believe it was that much. But then he felt it because he was channeling into it. And then he said, why do people like you, he said, why are you not using it? And then came up, I said, well, my kids, I was afraid of my identity to my kids. And he said, oh, it's always compassion. The moment he said it, I went in and I looked like a freak. I started shaking from my legs down, and I started shaking like the most crazy person. And
Really?
then I went strong. I was standing strong, and tears was running down my eyes, and then I was strong. And then out of my body, I had thousands, billions of small holes, if you will, like making holes in my body. And again, the room disappeared. I was standing in nature. There was no people around me. I was just standing alone in nature. And then my whole body disappeared because all these light became more and more and more. And I could feel how everything was connected.
Wow.
And then the shaman asked me, and where does the light stop? And I said, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's all connected. It's like a
Eternal.
web, like an internal. It's all entangled. It's all connected. I could feel love for everything. And it was the day I think I was born as a quantum healer, although I did not say that word before 10 years later, because I was like, I went on a journey. It was me before and after. I was never very good at meditating. I would come home after this and I would just sit down. I'd be in pure bliss. I could sit for 2, 3 hours. I could take any color in I wanted. I could work with anything I wanted to work with.
Wow.
I felt like I cheated. I felt like, why did I just get everything on a silver plate?
Well, you open the access that the human potential maybe all of us have, but we are not.
Everybody has
Yeah,
it.
everybody has it, and that
Everybody.
is the
Everybody has it.
incredible thing that we go walk around thinking that we are not having that
Yeah.
multidimensionality, but we do.
Yes. I do think when people do any kind of psychedelic things to try it out, I think it's very important to do it with respect
Of
and
course.
have a lot of preparations, because a lot of people do not take time for the preparation or the time for the integration.
No,
And I
especially
think
not for
those
the
two,
integration, because the experience itself that you have, the message that comes through, then it's time for the integration. And I've
the
heard so
can
many
take a long
people
time.
not talking about that.
It is the most important.
Yeah.
It is the most important. I mean, my shaman told me, you do not need to come back ever again. And I said, well, I didn't even know. I didn't know where to go. And I did come back. I think in that year, in 2016, I think I did ayahuasca like 12 times or something like that. And every time I would take it, I would not feel bad. I would just leave my body. I would
Wow.
even push it. I would eat I remember eating a big burger and I'd have a Coca-Cola. I went from one extreme to the other because I thought, okay, cannot be. Why am I not getting that? And the shaman told me, you're going to be horrible. You want to do it? I said, yeah, I want to do it. The moment the ayahuasca would touch me, I would just leave. I would leave my body. And I would visit like 35 different species. I would go into where I am also being at the same time, because I believe in your higher self. You live many different places at the same time. So I would go into my body in different planets. I would see the planet. I would have to get used to the air. I would talk to the people living there.
Wow.
So all my journeys was always out, was never in this world, was never anything to do with my life. It was always out there.
Tiny, like a galactic world.
Yes, yes, very much. And believe me, I don't know how 35 different species look like, and especially not at that time. At that time, I was ahead of many things, but I was also such a beginner with so many other things,
Yeah. But how did it feel to communicate with them? Was it through telepathy or because I
A
can
lot about,
imagine that 38 species has different languages too.
yes. Some of them is telepathy, and some of them is vibrations. And the first time where I visited many, I was there with a guide, and some of them were kind of like, "Why are you here? You shouldn't be here," kind of. And I was then protected from my guide, saying, "She's here to observe your light." So it was always about vibration of light,
Yeah.
and so I was allowed into these different places, and other places was like visiting my own places where I was living. That was more there I could talk very freely to my family. I seen my family in other ET worlds, you know, and feeling the love, you know, it's amazing. So yeah, that was definitely, there was like, and the shaman also told me, you have to go to Shanisha Shansara. She's like a ET experienced woman who lives on Earth, but she doesn't have a phone and you can't really reach her. And I was like, great, so you're sending me to someone that I can't go to, you know. And you know, I was so
How
lost. I
did you
didn't know
find
what to
her?
do with all. I kept trying to find her, but I did find her. And I found her one day by looking at Interfloor, and I saw a birth name that has nothing to do with hers. And I didn't even know she was called like that, Christina West. And there was a phone number, and I thought, that's it, that's her. It's the
And you
most
called?
crazy guiding ever. And I called, and she said, how do you get this number? I said, oh, that's a long story. For me, I was ready, and she was like, and she said, you're not supposed to call now.
Oh,
I was like, okay.
so she
And she said,
was
we will work
expecting the call.
somehow, yes. And so I said, I would like to work with you. And she said, we will work together. So in my head, time at that stage was like being very Danish. That means in minimum 14 days. And I've learned the time for her is not the same time frame as mine. And so I started learning her teaching from her higher teacher.
Yeah.
And I did become her student, but it took, I think, 2 years before we started working together,
Wow.
and learned amazing things from her.
You can
And
imagine.
so also, yeah, and also I wanted to say, like, after I stopped ayahuasca in 2016, I didn't do anything, uh, um, any any kind of psychedelic or anything for a long time.
Okay.
I wanted to integrate.
Yeah, fantastic. But and you were talking about remembrance, remembering who you are through these experiences. If you would describe it, what did you remember of who you are?
Well, I think we all kind of are all of this. I think the higher self shows you what in this very moment you need to tap into to remember, to recall,
Hmm.
because I think we can all recall it. So my own remembering was, I saw Earth when it was just being discovered for the first time, how I came here,
Hmm.
very like for the first time, the blue beings, you know. I discovered how light is so important and how everything is vibration. And it was more like I was being, after the ayahuasca, I was being visited a lot in my dreams. And it was like very much learning. It was a lot of coding. Um, and I was like first refusing it. I kept saying, you know, I'm not going to remember all these numbers and I'm not going to remember all these things. But they're very patient. They would keep going. And I knew when certain people would come in my dreams, I knew this is a night of learning.
Hmm.
So I started to do a lot of remote viewing. I did a lot of astral travel at night.
Yeah,
Um, so I would love going to bed because it would be like where I would
that's
learn
when you
most.
really
You
woke
know,
up.
yes, when I woke up,
Where during
exactly,
dreams, like that is another kind of life. We
exactly.
think we go to
And
sleep, but we are going actually to other timelines.
yes, it's actually the other way
Yeah,
around for me.
yeah.
And I try to put that. I try all the time to put those two worlds more and more together.
Mm.
You know, so when I'm awake, every morning when I wake up, I am having a conversation with my higher self. Sounds like I'm schizophrenic or something like that, but I'm like
No.
pulling that energy in here every day,
Mm.
just to make that connection being more real into this life as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it is a vibration that comes into my heart, and I will often start shaking, but in a good way.
Mm.
And I would kind of like shake off like what doesn't fit to my body or what I maybe have taken to myself that I don't know. off, like it's more laying in my subconscious mind knows that this is not something that's good for me.
Yeah.
I would take it off. It's kind of like a meditation. It's kind of like a breathing that I do every morning
Okay.
to kind of get into alignment. Yeah.
How would you describe for people, because we have different belief systems about what is our soul, and from what I understand from your perspective, it's actually first the soul and then the body.
Yeah. Like how we are saying, oh, the soul left the body, when you're dying. Now you are not, you are human, you are soul having a human experience. You're soul all the time. You're just looking through the lens of a human. How is it to live with limitation? How it's to live not knowing all the things you are? And how do you navigate into it? It's super exciting for a soul to have those informations, because where we are, we do not have those limitations. We can work with light vibrations. We can go in and out of like instantly where we want to be. And I believe in, well, it's a little bit complex. I believe in we are many places at the same time. You can be an angelic, you can be an ET. We're all ETs anyway, but you can be what we call an ET or different races at the same time. You can be in different realities. So when you're here, Annette or Jessica, in this realm, you are also existing. Billion versions of you. And every time you are shifting your vibration, you're shifting into, you can say it's like I'm always saying it's like a TV. There's a lot of different programs. And you are the captain, or you're the one with the remote control, and you're watching one program. And you kind of know there's a lot of different programs you can shift into. So if you shift, you can have a totally different way of having your history with you, your future, because you shifted into a vibration that's more alignment, that there's more excitement for you to experience. So, but that's just here on Earth. That's just
only
you
here,
as being that's you being Jessica. But then you can also say, I want to connect to my highest being and feel, how does it feel being in this viewing point, connecting to that? And what can you give down to me in this very moment that I can connect into? And this is how I work. And when I often go in, this is how I work myself. But when I work and want to remote viewing, or when I use the ayahuasca, and sometimes I use other things to go to other places, I literally go there to learn. I can do that now because I learned it. I don't need the psychedelic. I learned to do it by meditating, to do this remote viewing, these places. Yes. But I do believe it can be good if you are blocked.
Absolutely. I mean, the
to
neural
jump.
patterns the pathways can be so deep, so we cannot just change so easily. And with the therapeutic psychedelic, this can help you to erase all those patterns and create new ones, right?
Yeah. I mean, what I do when I do the quantum healing, I do help people here in this life. I don't work without. Although a lot of people say, oh, Nat, can you please take me somewhere? I said, no, I think that is something you should do your own steps into. But there are teachers who
can guide you through that as well.
Yeah. But I do it here with the quantum healing. Like, how do I explain it best? It's like when a client comes to me, they come with a baggage, or they come with like I'm always saying like a backpack that's full of like limitations, often not your own limitations that you've been living, and you put it into now again and again and again, and you having like something you want to work with. I never know when my clients come what they want to work with. I don't know if it's limiting belief in I'm not good enough, or why nobody loves me, or whatever they come with. So when they start talking about something they think they want to work with, I pick up of that vibration first in my body. I feel it. I feel the sadness. I feel the frustrations. And then I start seeing some imprints. I start seeing, it's like a short movie that's like next to them. And so that can be, if we look at it in a linear time from your past experience, But if you look at it as a sphere, it's just another place of yourself that has a similar vibration match. So then I would say, oh, that's all good. Let's say my girlfriend just broke up with me and I feel horrible. And I don't think I can find love or whatever. They're talking and talking, you know. And then I say, okay, what happened when you were 6? And like, no. I wanna work here because I wanted my girlfriend back. And I said, yeah, that I do hear that, but I would like to know what happened when you were 6.
Because you
And then
can
they're like,
channel
yeah,
feeling it.
yeah, no, I
You
see it.
see it.
I see an image. Or sometimes I don't even say 6, I actually say, when can you remember you had a similar feeling that you have today? I know that is the one of 6 years. And they say, oh, or maybe when I was 6 years old. Or it can be 20, it can be 30, whatever age, you know. And then I said, what happened? And then they start talking. So what actually happens for me is the 6 years old child is reaching out because you now as an adult can help the 6 years old child to get a new parallel reality in there, not having a choice of not moving ahead with that trauma. And you, and as an adult, are giving a permission slip from the 6 years old child, now finally to look at that story in a different way.
It's a way to
So
heal.
both are being healed. Both timelines, both moments are being healed. It's not just you, it's also the child.
Yeah.
And both are from there splitting out to infinitive vibrations and version of yourself. So what I do then, I go back with my clients and I let me just here try to get you more in the middle here. I go back with my clients and rewrite a story that has a higher vibration. So together with my client, I'm not like erasing who you are or fixing you. It's the client themselves that has to take in the vibration. I can offer it and I'm talking and I'm doing, we are not in a meditative state. I'm just like talking to them and finally I can feel, okay, they're starting to get into it. I can feel it somewhere, it's like in the heart or in the stomach. I'm like, hey, do you feel your heart is opening up? And they're like, yeah, how the hell do you feel that? I said, I can feel you. Remember, I can feel you. And then when they take that new vibration over, it just feels amazing because often tears comes out, like this release tears. It's not like tears of crying, it's just release because it's kind of like you used to a weight that you've been carrying around with, that you thought this is who I am. Even though I don't like this weight, it's who I am. So who would I be without? But then when you take that weight out, comes this, wow, this is who I am. Wow, you're not born with any weight.
No. We learn everything. We learn hate. We are born knowing love, but we are taught to hate, for example.
Exactly. Or you just taught also other limiting beliefs, you know, that we've been told maybe from parents, even though it was not meant to be something that was going to.
No, the interpretation became like that, and it stayed.
Or it can be school, it can be your boyfriend, or it can be anyone who never wanted to hurt you, you know.
So when you work with clients, you see them one-on-one, but could you also work online? I mean, for our viewers to maybe reach out to you if they are not living in Barcelona.
No, I do work with people also on Zoom. I do that. Yeah, because I have some American clients, and so that's
possible too.
I do that. Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, it's possible. I do love having people one-to-one.
Yeah, no,
but
it's just the possibilities are increasing in this online world. But I understand what you mean,
and I love it. Yeah. I love it. And my main teacher, I only met her one time, so all my teaching been on Zoom. So all my best teaching ever myself has been on Zoom. You know, so. And also this is vibration.
Absolutely.
And also permission slip, you know.
Yeah. Before we round up, I would love for you to tell us about the seed portal that you have founded.
Oh yeah. So the seed portal, it was kind of like just information that came to me. Like you said, like just remembering things. It was kind of like being giving to me all these things that I had to put in. First, shaman and I became really good friends. Johannes Dobler, I love him very much. And him and I, he was like very interested in the EMF vibrations, electromagnetic field that kind of you get from your phone for all the electronic that's around you. And he wanted to work with that, and I found that was interesting. And I could see I was just on my yes. My thing was I want to create something that people has the best tools around them to be guided. So everywhere I've been going of my remote viewing, everything I have learned the last decade, I wanted to put into a portal. So him and I worked on it first, and we did there's like 35 different minerals in there. It's all kind of information of papers together, and it's put together with aluminium, and it's put together with secret geometry, and then there's all the ET downloads that I have gone and seen, and also what I have learned is in there. And it is so much more bigger beyond that I can ever describe or understand. I can only know what gift it is. And I was allowed to put it all together. So it was more like I became the mother of something that already wanted to be born. Yes, I made it, but I more felt like I was just being the mother of something that wanted to be created itself. So it is something that will protect you for the EMF. But I then had to go on and move on to do my own seed portal and put my own spiritual things into it. Because that for me was the most important, that you it's kind of like having an easier way to get alignment to who you truly are.
Yeah, that was my next question. What do they solve? They solve your ability to align with.
Yes, you're easier to get into meditation. You're easier to get into your higher self, to shift into the version you want to be. It guides you more.
Nice.
So you can, yes, it is a beautiful thing. And also with the EMF, we actually got a really good test results that it actually works really, really good. So it does do that too, because we worked on not blocking energies, because a lot of these things that you have also one on my phone here.
Nice.
I also wearing one, of course.
Yes.
Here you see forward. I don't know if you see it.
Blue, beautiful. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Yes. So we don't block what's coming in vibration. What we wanted to do was to take the vibration that comes and shift them. So that's what this one is doing. A lot of the things you put in the phone is blocking. And then it maybe help you with the last 3 chakras. You feel better, but the body is not being helped. So it's not good to block vibrations. You have to shift them.
Yeah.
So they become like to your benefit. So you kind of take a portion of energy and you shift that into something that becomes positive. So that's what we wanted to work with,
Amazing. Yeah. And these can be bought online?
Yeah, it can be bought on my webpage called seedoflife.eu. And also the seed water you can get there. And if you want to be in contact with me and have a quantum healing session, you can also contact me there.
I will leave all the links where people can reach out to you.
Thank you so much.
So yeah. And so if you would love to leave a message to the listeners today from your heart without thinking too much, what would that be in this living moment we are?
That you are so much more beautiful than you think you are. Don't ever put yourself down and talk very lovely to yourself. Talk to yourself with love in every sentence, and that will show the synchronicity to better steps.
Yeah, I was told also to talk with my body, to talk with my feet, to talk with my heart, or whatever organ it is, and say something. It's actually listening. It sounds like the voice of God for the body.
Yes, tell how much you love your body. That's always a good start. When you wake up, the first thing I do, I say, thank you for waking me up one more time. Yeah. And I greet my whole body, and then I greet my heart. I always go in with the biggest excitement into my heart. And if you can't find excitement, I know everybody had something that they loved. can be your dog, can be your children, it can be going into the nature, whatever picture that you can use to get the highest vibration into your heart. Start with that vibration and breathe that in, and just say, thank you for waking me up, and learn that you really have to trust that you can become so much more that you could even imagine.
Beautiful. Thank you from my heart to your heart, Annette.
And thank you for having this,
and
Jessica.
It's been
I
amazing
love
to
it.
speaking and listening to your story. And when you were talking about the dog story, your little precious dog was curling up behind
Oh yeah,
you.
she's sitting here. Look there.
It was like she
She's
knew.
sitting right here.
Hello.
She's sitting here.
Oh, so sweet. Oh,
She knows.
she knows. So thank
She
you,
knows.
and I can't wait to
Thank
get
you.
this out there online and to read all the comments that the listeners will have. So
thank you, Jessica.
see you soon,
Thank you for
and
having
thank you
me.
for being on the
See
show.
you. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.